Number 346, come sing a song with me. Good morning. Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, a time of introspection, prayer, and penitence, was celebrated this week. And so today, we consider how we grow and learn and change. It seems to me that when we are acknowledging that we gather on the land of the Western Abenaki, it is a way to learn and grow and change. And so I wanted to share with you this morning an excerpt of a document produced at the Native Governance Center at a meeting of Indigenous people held in 2019. And I quote, but I've lost my... It is important to understand the long-standing history that has brought you to reside on the land and to seek to understand your place within that history. Land acknowledgements do not exist in a past tense or an historical context. Colonialism is a current, ongoing process, and we need to build our mindfulness of our present participation. When we talk about land, land is a part of who we are. It's a mixture of our blood, our past, our current, and our future. We carry our ancestors in us. They're around us, as you all do. Welcome again. My name is Becky Shrum. I'm a member of this congregation and of the worship team, and today I have the pleasure of serving as worship associate for the Reverend Tricia Hart, one of our two interim ministers. So, good morning to those of you here in our sanctuary, those of you on Zoom, and those of you who may watch this service at a later date. Welcome to CVUUS, the Champlain Valley Unitarian Universalist Society. You are welcome here no matter who you are. no matter where you come from, no matter what your background. You are welcome to join us in community as we learn, live, and love together. If this is your first time with us, you are invited to fill out one of these blue sheets that are in the foyer. If you are not able to hear me, we have some excellent hearing devices that you can get from Margie or Richard in the back. This is the excellent time to turn off those cell phones if you haven't already done so. I also want to point out that we have these yellow cards also in the foyer, where if you have a milestone or a passage, a joy or a concern that you would like to share with everyone, you can write it down on here and put it in the basket when we take up the donation. If you have a more personal joy or concern that you would like to share privately with the caring team, fill out one of these pink cards, and there's a place that you can put them anonymously, or so everybody won't see them. And now it's time to light our chalice, which is the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, and Katie Baker-Rouse is going to light it for us today. And if you would say the words with me, we will begin. We are Unitarian Universalists who put love at the center of our lives. We light this chalice today to practice listening to the wisdom within us.
So I'll say hello as well. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Some of you I don't know yet, so after this service, make sure to come up and introduce yourselves. The call to worship today is a little piece from the work of Adrienne Marie Brown. I brought her book, which is called Emergent Strategy. It's not her only work, but this is becoming a bit of a, I won't call it a Bible, but a reference point for lots of us who are struggling with figuring out, frankly, okay, how do we do this? How do we live? How do we make the world better? And her words and the words that she quotes from other people are challenging in a way that is very helpful. Adrienne Marie Brown asks, do you already know that your existence, who and how you are, is in and of itself a contribution to the people and the place around you? Not after or because you do some particular thing, but simply the miracle of your life. And that the people around you and the places have contributions as well? Do you understand that your quality of life and your survival are tied to how authentic and generous the connections are between you and the people and place you live with and in? Are you actively practicing generosity and vulnerability? And then she defines those two big words. Generosity here means giving of what you have without strings or expectations. And vulnerability means showing your needs. Some thoughts for this morning. And now, let us sing. The first hymn is in your teal hymnal. If you want to look at the music, it's number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
Good morning. This coming Saturday is one of my favorite things to do, which is I'm going to get to march in a pride parade. So this Saturday is the Middlebury Pride Parade and Festival, and I'm going to be there with RE kids and families and anybody else who wants to join me. You can come between 12:30 and 1 to meet up with me. And in RE, we're going to be making these kind of flags. So, people may have marched with them before that we made. They're pride flags, but you'll see they're interesting. They're unusual. And Jet Pig, who is trans, right? They use they, them pronouns, is here to share a little bit more about it. But they were supposed to be here. I thought they were going to meet me before the service, and they didn't, so I'm not really sure where they are. So, anybody, do you see them? Where? Oh, yeah. Thanks, Ellen. Yeah, I mean, this is what happens when there's beings that like to fly and like to hide. All right, I'm going to stick you up here, buddy. Whoa. Something is different about Jet Pig. Wings, sequins. They got a little rainbow flag. I see some stickers. Wow, you got totally dressed up. Well, yeah, I mean, I was guessing it was for the parade, not just church. But although anybody is welcome to dress this way. I would really enjoy it if you did, actually. Okay, so what is it that right, so one of the things you're showing us is that one of the reasons that I really love Pride, besides, I'm going to put you down, besides the fact that Pride means I get to show up and show my pride because I am proud of the people in my life who are gay, queer, trans. Proud of them because I'm proud of most of the people in my life, but especially because for some of them, it's kind of tough being, for Jet Pig, I know it was tough when they were younger because they knew nobody else who was trans. Everybody else felt like, I'm a girl pig, and Jet Pig just felt like, that doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel like me. But they didn't even know what do you call that, or what do you do with that? So, but as they got older, they realized, one thing I could call that is trans, and I don't need to decide. I don't need to be male or female, or use she or he. I can use whatever I want, in fact. When someone says they're trans, by the way, we don't know what that means, right? Unless they want to tell us more, that could mean a lot of things. Just like if I tell you I'm straight, which I am, you don't know who I like or who I'm in love with or if I've been in love with anybody, which I have. Details at social hour. I'm married. It's not that exciting. Okay, wipe that from the recording. It's very exciting. That's also probably not great. It's as good as it should be, appropriately. Okay, I'm guessing you have something in your backpack, yes? Okay. Oh, man. Oh. Okay, so this is a little hard to see. I'm just going to do a quick kind of walk around. So this This is a very mini version of the of the flags that we made a couple years ago in RE that we're going to make. I mean, I know you can't all see this, but... Oh yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Great idea, Andrea. So anyway, that's what we're doing in RE. We are making flags to bring for ourselves, to bring for others. I really hope you will show up at the parade if you can. Besides being an important way to show your support of people in the queer community, or your support for yourself, if you are in the queer community, it's really fun. And it's a time where you're encouraged to wear pretty funky clothes, and nobody really thinks twice about it. And the parade still needs volunteers. So if you have a little time to help set up, to help clean up, or you have a really cool car that people might enjoy riding in the parade, which I've heard has floats this year. That's right, goal for next year. You can come see me, okay, during social hour, and I will get your name. So with that, am I missing anything? Oh, yeah, so at social hour, the materials to make the flags will actually, we're hoping to move stuff over there, so you can help make some of these flags, which you will leave with us, but you can use during the parade. Yes? Okay. So with that, let us be sung out over to RE to make some cool pride swag. We'll get the flag back.
I think I heard some harmony. It's a good thing. So, as a part of our worship every week, we make a little bit of time to talk about some of the ways that people in this congregation can get more involved. Poppy was talking about one next weekend. There are lots of them. And, oh, wait, I think I forgot to say, did you notice? The order of service is back. I didn't really realize what a hard thing it was for all of you, because of lots of reasons. It's not you. It's mostly this space. It's really important to have this. I am so grateful to you, to all of you. Laura and Christina and I are all grateful that you gave us a few weeks to figure out what kind of order of service format we wanted and needed, and guess what? It's not going to keep changing. This is the way it's going to look. It is much easier to produce, and you will notice that on one side is in fact the order of service, all of the elements with the things you need to say out loud. They will be on the screen, but they're also here. The QR code, which is a very easy way to give your gift to the offering when that time comes, if you're a person who uses your phone in that way. And just a few other little tidbits of information, but nothing extra. There's lots more on the slide, so we hope that you will use those as you want. And then, perhaps even more surprising, and I want to give Alan more credit. I do. Alan looked at this and this morning, and he said, "This is just what I wanted." And I said, "Yeah, Alan, and that's what we designed it to be, just what Alan wanted." Because it's exactly the right thing. This is not just this week. This is kind of this season. These are the important things. Lots of detail is not here, but dates are, and names. And there's more information on the website about all of these things, and some more information on the slides as well. And what we want is for you to be able to sit here when you come to the service, and whether you're new or you're here all the time, just sort of look at this and say, "Oh my goodness, the Mexican consulate visit is coming up," which it is. And the Radical Love Exchange, when the heck is that? Oh, it's November 3rd. And take it home with you. Put it on your refrigerator if anybody still does that. Do you? My refrigerator is covered with things. Okay. Put it on your phone. Take a picture of it and put it on your phone if that's what makes sense to you. We will update this as we need to, and we're hopeful that it will work. And we not only hope that you will tell us what you think of it and what you would suggest for the future, I kind of expect that you will. And that's a good thing, having gotten to know this congregation just a bit. I did want to say it's not on here, but next weekend, my friend Mark Ewert, who is the stewardship consultant who's working with do you all have a name yet? The team? Okay, the name will be announced next weekend. It's the group that you might otherwise think of as the stewardship team, but it's kind of bigger than that. And it's great, and a whole bunch of wonderful things are happening. And Mark is going to be here to meet with the team and to meet with leaders and to meet with the board. And I said to Mark Ewert, whom I've known since 2001, I think, I said, "Mark, you're going to be here. How about doing the sermon with me?" And he said, "I don't normally do that." And I said, "Yeah, I know, but you can." And so it will be fun. We are going to have a dialogue sermon. I'm going to ask him questions, and he's going to ask me questions. And we all hope that you take something from it. But Mark he's a fabulous, fascinating person, Unitarian Universalist of many decades, member of All Souls in DC, as well as his stewardship consultation. And I want you all to meet him. So that would be great. Yes, Steve. After the service, what's happening?
Then everyone else gets a chance to talk with Mark.
Everybody.
What you talked about,
Yes. So I don't know, bring your pencils and your notepads so you can remember what you want to ask Mark or me, I suppose, after the service. Yes, there'll be a congregational conversation, and everybody is welcome to stay to find out what's happening, what the plan is for this congregation, and learn all kinds of things that you might not already know. So thank you for remembering to remind me about that. Let me see here. What else do we have in terms of pathways to connection?
Well,
Marnie, did you have something you wanted to say?
I think I do, and you're not surprised because you're laughing. I want to share how wonderful all of you have been, both handing me money for the crop walk, doing so online, writing a check, and today is the crop walk on the green. We're meeting. You don't have to be there at 12. I do, because I am registering our team, which they already know about, but I'm also bringing money. But also, you can keep donating for at least another 7 to 10 days. So if you wish to donate for the crop hunger walk, please see me. And I'm being very visual today because for those of you that are walking, I'll be there with a sign so that we can take a photo. The photos start at 12:30, And I'll be wearing green, so you can find me, even a green hat. And so thank you so much. As far as I know, right at the moment, we have raised more than $900, which is fantastic, dear friends. And I want you to know that I was asked a question. I've been doing this walk for decades, really. And someone asked me recently, well, what does CROP stand for? And I went, oh. I just always figured it was, you know, it had to do with farmers and crops, and we're feeding those who are in need, and we're helping give them a voice, whether they are locally, some of the money we raise does stay locally, and or whether it goes elsewhere in our country and also abroad. So, educator that I am, finally, finding out CROP, Church World Service, is the overarching organization. And that was formed after World War II and the devastation in Europe and Asia. And in 1946, Church World Service came about. And in 1947, trying to reach out internationally, Christian Rural Overseas Project, CROP, was formed. And Midwest farmers started in the Midwest with farmers who could send grain overseas. And the program's been going ever since. Nowadays, you know, they're helping to support how folks can have water and appropriate seeds for planting and keeping themselves, helping to start and keep themselves fed. So, sorry if this was a little long, but the big day is today. Come and join, even if you haven't told me previously that you'd like to walk, you're welcome to walk. It's in town. It's whatever distance you wish to walk. And so come join me, find me on the green. I'm wearing green.
It's lovely to see you wearing so much green. That's great. I also want to encourage you to do something that I did a couple days ago, which is to look on the website, the Crop Walk website, and see how many communities, not all of them today, but a lot of them at this time of year, have crop walks. I looked for all of the places that I've been a minister, which is 10. And they don't all have crop walks, but lots of them do. So it's a wonderful thing to be involved with. Thank you for that. We also take time in our service to remember that the congregation exists and acts in the world because of the generosity of its members and friends. So we take up an offering which is shared between supporting the operating budget of this congregation and a donee chosen because of the work that they do often in this community or more widely, that is consistent with, that is part of what we understand our values tell us is important. And the offering is shared this month with the Vermont Abenaki Artists Association, which is a Native American arts organization which serves the public by connecting people to Abenaki educators and artists, visual artists, performing artists, and literary people as well. So your generosity today, and any time that you give this month, will actually go to pretty directly support the work of these people who are here among us and with whom we long to have a better, richer, more fuller relationship. I just want to say it now in case you're new here, the practice of this congregation is after the offering baskets have been passed, we don't just fall right back into the service, we actually take a minute to stand and sing to each other. The song is number 402 in the hymnal, in the gray hymnal if you want to look at it, but it's pretty easy to pick up. It's called From You I Receive. So listen for that music and be sure to greet one another. This morning's offering will now be gratefully received.
It has been a week of living, a week of happiness and sadness, joys and concerns, milestones and passages. And I have 2 yellow cards. The first is from Elio Farley, who shares with us that they are feeling really loved these days, and thanks for all the Mid-Pride support. They're so grateful to be in this community, and we're so grateful to have you. And then from Marnie Wood, Marnie lets us know, I've been sharing some posts on this. Marnie would like to share that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Our congregation has donated support through the years to Women's Safe, now called Atria Collective, and which will be holding events throughout Addison County to raise awareness about intimate partner violence and ways to prevent it. Please continue your support as we recognize their efforts, especially this month. Personal hygiene items can be placed in the box for Atria Collective. It shares space in the shopping cart found in the foyer. Food shelf items may be put in the same cart. Thank you.
I'd invite all of you and me too to take a breath. To settle in to some stillness, whatever that means for you. We will have a moment of silence in a minute. But the theme this month is deep listening. And I have a couple of very short little pieces to read to you that might or might not help you listen deeply. The first is from Mark Nepo, who said, "To listen is to continually give up all expectation and to give our attention to what is before us, not really knowing what we will hear or what that will mean. To listen is to lean in softly with a willingness to be changed by what we hear." And this from Courtney Martin, who writes a blog called The Examined Family that I just love and would highly recommend to any of you that wanted to think about families these days. She wrote this, not about families, but about instincts. We have, at least a lot of us have, awesome instincts. If we listen hard enough to our own hearts, we notice when the whispers become fervent little screams. That's what I want more of. That's what I crave to understand. That's the kind of person, mountain, book I want to be near. That's the way I want to feel. Let us be for a moment in the not quite silence we make together.
Our reading today, Because We Spill Not Only Milk, by Nancy Schaefer. Because we spill not only milk knocking over with an elbow when we reach to wipe a small face, but also spill seed on soil we thought was fertile, but isn't. And also spill whole lives and only later see in fading light how much is gone and we hadn't intended it. Because we tear not only cloth thinking to find a true edge, instead making only a hole, but also tear friendships when we grow. And whole mountainsides, because we are so many and we want to live right where black oaks lived, once very quietly and still. Because we forget not only what we are doing in the kitchen and have to go back to the room before we were in before to remember why it was left, but also forget entire lexicons of joy and how we lost ourselves for hours, yet all the time were clearly found and held. And also forget the hungry not at our table. Because we weep not only at jade plants caught in freeze and precious papers left in rain, but also at legs that no longer walk or never did, although from the outside they look like most others. And also weep at words once said as though they might be rearranged, but which, once loose, refuse to return. And we are helpless, because we are imperfect and love so deeply. We need the gift of starting over, beginning again. Just this constant good, this saving hope.
We are in the season of the High Holy Days. As Becky said, Rosh Hashanah began last Wednesday. It's the start of the Jewish New Year. On Rosh Hashanah, Jews at Temple hear the shofar, a musical instrument made from a ram's horn. It's loud and jarring and meant to wake people up. Going to temple, people listen to ancient texts and to pray because it's the new year, a new beginning. Prayers for a clean heart, a clear conscience, for enough courage and honesty to face up to mistakes and careless errors and outright sins of the past year, and to promise to do better in the next one. It's kind of like New Year's resolutions, except Judaism teaches that promises are not enough. It's important to pray and meditate and examine one's own heart to tell the truth about the past, to be sure. It's also essential to perform good deeds, unexpected kindnesses for others, and to ask for forgiveness. It is action and doing that changes us, not just intention. Action is teshuvah, which is turning to face a new, right, good direction. Teshuvah is a return to God, to our truest selves. Rosh Hashanah is a wake-up call. The time is now, and the time is limited. Because the teaching is that at Rosh Hashanah, each person's name is written for the coming year into the book of life, a year of happiness and health, or not. The book isn't sealed right away. That doesn't happen until 10 days later at Yom Kippur, which this year falls on the coming Friday. Yom Kippur is the holiest day in the Jewish year, when synagogues ring with prayer and hope, and sometimes people wear white to symbolize the purity of a new beginning. These 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are for doing teshuvah, going to people one has hurt, intentionally or thoughtlessly, to act out repentance and resolution and goodness. 10 days to change your life, so that we're no longer pulled apart in competing destructive directions, but are all in one piece, at one. When I was learning about all of this in seminary, I realized that I was just then learning the actual meaning of atonement. As a Catholic child growing up, I heard a lot about atoning for sin. When something wrong happens, it needs to be balanced, accounted for with something good. Being sorry isn't enough, I learned. And of course, the big atonement, the greatest once-for-all reconciliation for all of humanity's sins, was somehow the death of Jesus on the cross. This was too big an idea for me as a child. It was too confusing. But part of the point, the part that stuck, was that true atonement was beyond, in this teaching, in the Catholic tradition, true atonement is beyond the capacity of mere humans. We just aren't up to it. It turns out that's not quite right either. Imagine religious traditions not always doing a good job at teaching children what their tradition is all about. In the archaic sense, atonement can be understood as, if you take the word apart a little bit, at-one-ment. You've probably seen this. As in, at one accord, in harmony, reconciliation, the condition of being at one with others after discord or conflict. Talk about a big idea. One of the striking things for me about the High Holy Days is that all those prayers in temple are communal. People come together to confess and pray and commit to set things right in their own lives and the community together in many traditions, at least of many of the Jewish traditions, because of course they're not all the same, but the community lists all the crimes and the sins, omissions and commissions that any of them could possibly have done in the prior year. The prayers are plural and aloud. Forgive us because we have lied, we have cheated, we have hardened our hearts, we have judged unfairly, we have failed to act to help one another when it was in our power to do so. The point, of course, is that we all participate. No matter what we've done individually, we all participate in the failures of our communities and our countries, and even in the failures of one another. And one way to make a move toward atonement is by calling out together how we have fallen short. We Unitarian Universalists don't generally spend much time talking about atonement or forgiveness. It's a tricky topic, frankly, since it requires us to focus on our failings, the ways we've fallen short. And Unitarian Universalist tends toward topics like beauty and goodness and potential, inherent human worth and dignity, love, not ugliness, pettiness, cruelty, selfishness, waste. Of course, the truth is that we Unitarian Universalists are no more immune from imperfection than anyone else. We know that. We all make mistakes, we judge poorly, we fail to remember how much we do matters and what we don't do today and in every day to come. One good thing about religion, most religions, including Catholicism, is the conviction that there is always another chance. We can make amends. We can approach those we have hurt. We can ask for forgiveness. We can start again. At the heart of traditions like Rosh Hashanah is a deep conviction that it's not enough just to feel bad or to ask some God to forgive us. We need to face the real, difficult, imperfect human beings in our own lives who, unhelpfully, may actually not feel like accepting our apologies, but we need to do it anyway. We need to go, bringing nothing but ourselves to face those whose lives have been or might have been made more difficult by what we've done, and perhaps especially by what we failed to do. Choosing not to see what's wrong, what's unjust in our world, failing to make time for those who need our care, our attention, our courage. And we need to face ourselves to give our priorities a good, close look, which can be tricky. As I was getting ready for today's service, I came across a Rosh Hashanah story from, I think, the Hasidic tradition. It is, like a lot of these stories, long and complicated. It's predictable and confusing at the same time, which I think is just like life. The protagonists in this story are Rivka and her husband Haskell. They are good, at some time long ago, far away, doesn't really matter because it could be true today. They are good people who are preoccupied with hard things in their lives, and there are lots of them. They're trying to remember that they're better off than many who have no home and not enough food and are surrounded by people who need their help, which they don't have to give. Try to be generous in the midst of that and to not be too scared and resentful. So, of course, out of the blue, there's a visit from a stranger who turns out to be a prophet. He arrives unexpectedly and he leaves behind a gift, which is also a responsibility, and says he'll be back in 7 years. Come on, that's funny. So he gives this gift, and he says it's a blessing, and he doesn't explain how that's supposed to work, which is what I love about a lot of these stories. It's just a warning that it's only for a while, not to be squandered, this opportunity. So Rivka and Haskell have to figure out what to do. And even when they have figured it out, that when they've done something good for another person, something good shows up on the gift, do good things for other people and good fortune will come to you. Even then, just how to do it remains really unclear. But it is clear that what they have to get better at is not about working to forestall misfortune, which might happen, but about deciding not to focus on what hasn't yet happened, but on where they are right now. This is all we've got, and it's full of beauty and pain. So where are you today? Are you awake to the joy and tragedy around you? Or are you tangled up in some past mistake or betrayal that claims too much of who you are? If so, Rosh Hashanah says, find a way to put it down. You've got 10 days. This requirement to offer and seek forgiveness is not some arbitrary rule imposed by some arbitrary God. It is about freeing us up to live the life we are capable of, practicing mercy, spreading joy, along with justice. However imperfectly we are drawn again and again to try and set things right in our lives. The High Holy Days teach us that this is what we are made to do. And so, I believe, does our Unitarian Universalist faith. The optimism at the root of all of this is stunning. Optimism that God or the universe or reality or whatever remains interested in our getting our priorities straight. In putting love first, acting out generosity and joy, doing what we can, being willing to learn and change. Not because we're smarter than most, not because we planned it all out, but despite the fact that we don't know how to plan it at all. It's a fundamental faith, I think, in Judaism, in Unitarian Universalism, that inherent in human nature is the desire to create something new, something good, to get out of our ruts and tangles, to be free. The faith that in the very act of facing the difficult truths in our lives and asking for a chance to do better, we might be changed. Last week, when Tom did the congregational conversation right over there to talk about the work that he's doing, he read a little piece from Sharon Welch, whose most well-known book is called The Ethic of Risk, which is very challenging. Here's one sentence from Sharon Welch to leave you with today. We do not think ourselves into new ways of acting. We act ourselves into new ways of thinking, being, and seeing. So may it be. you say the words with me as we extinguish the chalice? Closing words today, written by Amy Zucker Morgenstern, who was a former intern in this congregation. She writes, "The book of life is open before us. It tells stories of sadness and happiness, despair and hope, stagnation and change, and a peaceful stillness that transcends all. May you be written in the book of life. May you write your own name there in shining ink. May you know who you have been and who you are, and bless your future self with loving, brave intention. Go in peace."
The postlude got left out of the program, so I just wanted to first of all say thank you to Jonathan March for joining us, as well as Andrea on flute. We will be playing a piece from the Quad Bowling Suite.